Have you ever mapped out exactly what questions you intend to be asking your prospect, and then you actually get into the selling situation and you suddenly realize that you need to be actually asking a lot more questions to go so much deeper? So much about creating real value in the sales process is about asking not just those rehearsed questions that you have already lined up, but also asking those little quick questions to take a prospect from vague to very clear to real value. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 absolutely must-know quick sales questions to ask to determine your client's needs. Check it out. Number 1, unpack that for me. This is one of my favorite questions, and I guess technically it's not really a question, but it is a really powerful way to get a prospect to take an idea that may not be fully developed and help them go much more deeply. So let me give you an example. Obviously, right now, there's a lot of instability, a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace. And so you might have a prospect that might say something that's kind of vague, but you kind of know what they mean, but you don't really fully understand. So maybe they say something like, yeah, you know, right now, things have been just totally insane. Most salespeople would take that statement and say, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's just been absolutely insane out there. And then they go into some stupid monologue to try to relate to the prospect on how insane things are right now. But a true selling professional is going to be thinking in their head and they're going to be saying, well, why did they exactly say things are insane right now? Is it because of external factors? Is it because of some internal factors? Is it because of something that I don't even really understand what they're going at? That is what a great salesperson is going to think. And now, as a result of thinking that, they're then going to say something like, unpack that for me. Or let me just put it again back into the phrase. So the prospect says, yeah, things are absolutely insane right now. And the pro would say, yeah, you know, I'm hearing that a lot right now. Unpack that for me. And now what we're doing is we're inviting them to really explain what they actually mean by things being insane. The average or low-level salesperson is going to get really uncomfortable with digging into that. They're going to say something like, well, you know what they mean, you should just go with it. But actually, the professional is going to take that simply as an opportunity to go so much deeper. Because there could be something really, really valuable that you can literally unpack in that statement that's going to get you to a much deeper part of the conversation. One of the most important things is that you understand your prospect better than any of the competitors out there. So a question like, unpack that for me, allows you to go so much deeper. You should be using that phrase all the time when you're talking to prospects. Anytime they say something that could be literally unpacked, just go deeper. Number 2, what is that costing you? Now, this is a high-level sales question. This is something that most salespeople are going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. That is way too difficult to ask of a prospect. And you know what? If you're saying to yourself, there's no way I'm ever going to ask that question, then just stop the video now and move on. Because this is a question that is only for people who A, have guts, and B, really see themselves as true sales professionals. Oftentimes, prospects are going to be talking about some of the challenges that they're facing. And pretty much any salesperson in today's marketplace is going to want to have some conversation around challenges. But the difference between the average salesperson and the absolute professional salesperson is not a question of whether we actually talk about challenges. Everyone should be talking about challenges. But the real difference is between how deeply that salesperson can take that conversation. Just like we talked about unpack that for me, now what we want to do is once the prospect has explained a challenge, Ideally, a challenge, of course, that you solve in your realm of area of expertise. Now what we want to do is understand what that challenge is actually costing the prospect. And this is where we create real value. Because remember, the value for your offering in the eyes of your prospect, which is, by the way, the only type of value we care about, the value of your offering in the eyes of your prospect is simply the difference between where they are today and where they want to be. And typically, where they are today and where they want to be is separated by some type of a challenge that they have to break through in order to get to where they want to be. And so what you want to understand is, what is the value of that challenge? What is that actually costing the prospect? So a question like, well, what is that costing you, is now going to help the prospect actually think through the math of, well, what is the value of this challenge? Now, they're not going to think of it in that exact term, but they're going to think about how important is this? And by the way, if it's a really small cost, then chances are they're not going to invest a lot of money in order to solve it. But if it's a big cost, now you are creating real value in the sales process. And it's not about you throwing out the value numbers. It's not about you doing some silly ROI calculation. It's about the prospect thinking about what is the value or the cost of this challenge. Number 3, why is that? Or if you really want to get ninja, you could just say, why? Why is that is such a powerful question, because what it allows you to do is just keep peeling back the layers of the onion. Great salespeople are almost like detectives. You know, you remember the old Columbo movies, and if, by the way, if you've never seen any of the Columbo movies, just go on YouTube and look up Columbo, and what you're going to see is a detective that is constantly almost acting like he's a little bit dumb, like he doesn't understand stuff, but really he's the smartest person in the room. And that's what we want to be in sales. We want to be constantly asking questions where we're not assuming we understand what the prospect means. Because we, A, want to fully understand exactly what they do mean, and B, we want them to articulate what they mean. A lot of times a prospect hasn't really thought through the challenges that they're going to be talking about with you. So by asking a question of, why is that? Now you're taking the conversation a level deeper. And it's forcing them to use their brain power to think, yeah, you know what, why is that? And a lot of times you're going to hear prospects say, yeah, you know what, I haven't really thought about that. And here's why, or, and here's what I think, right? And now you're going to get them to go so much deeper. If you start having conversations like that, what it means is that you are going deeper than any of your competitors are taking them. You are going deeper on these conversations than any of their work peers are having. This is your value. This is expertise. The ability to take a prospect deeper and deeper and deeper down that conversation will be the difference between closing some sales and closing many, many more sales. And by the way, doing it at higher prices, because now you've established yourself as the expert. So next time a prospect says something that you don't fully understand, just say, why is that? And what you're going to see is the prospect suddenly starts to open up and open up. And by the way, you can't ask that question enough. Keep digging, try to understand exactly what is going on. So there are 3 quick sales questions to ask to determine your client's needs. And if you enjoyed this video, then have an awesome free training on the data-driven approach to closing more sales in today's marketplace. Just click right here to get registered instantly. Seriously, just click right here. This is an in-depth training that will help you close more sales at higher prices, all while generating more meetings. Also, if you got some value, please like this video below on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking my face, which should be right about here, to get access to a new video just like this one each week.